need to be better at sticking to schedules for making these videos. This game has been out for months, but I've been sad and I've been playing the game and I'm just going to do it now. Pokemon Legends Arceus has been out since January, and to be honest with you, I've been having so much fun playing the game. I've even taken a break from playing the game right now just to make this video. I've been meaning to make the video since January, but I've just been having too much fun with it. And then there's other games I've been playing and streaming over on Twitch as well, which, by the way, head on over to twitch.tv/JamesOfThunder and go and follow me on there to be notified whenever I go live in the future. Oh my god! I did not expect this to be that fast! 2 minutes into the stream, we get the shiny! 2 minutes in! I've been hunting this thing literally on this one outbreak for like 2 days. I've been meaning to make this video since January. It's now the end of March, so I'm really behind on this. I'm going to start getting better at this, I promise, but this game is just taking up way too much of my life at the moment. At the time of this recording, I've actually put about 250 hours into this game, which is ridiculous for someone who's in their 30s playing a Pokemon game. No, but Pokemon Legends Arceus has been taking up so much of my time. Like, I'll sit there and I'll think, I need Shiny Hunt Shaman on Shiny Pearl, I need Shiny Hunt Arceus, and then Darkrai's going to be starting soon. I've got other games that are in my backlog I haven't finished playing yet, but Legends Arceus is right there. And I know I'm not the only person who's been feeling like that, because Legends Arceus is so close to everything we've wanted from a Pokemon game up to this point. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we're going to get into that. I don't know whether I'm going to talk about Gen 9 in this video and my hopes and for it and the sort of what Legends Arceus has set when it comes to our expectations going forward. I don't know whether I'll put that as the second half of this video or whether I'm going to make a separate video entirely for that. Although if you are watching this video, that means I've edited it, which means I have already decided, but as of the time of recording this, I haven't decided yet whether it's going to be a separate video or the second half. I'll just see how things go. Anyway, Legends Arceus is out. It's been out since January, and I'm absolutely in love with this game. I actually just want to pick up my Joy-Cons and play it again right now. I'm not going to. I'm going to make the video though. Right, Legends Arceus. The story is very simple. You are, it's unconfirmed whether or not you are the character from BDSP being sent back in time or a completely separate character. There's theories covering both sides. I'm not going to get into that. But essentially you're someone sent from the modern day between 200 and 500 years to the past by Arceus in order to steal the Pokemon. Pretty general sort of plot, you know. You end up joining the Galaxy team and you are basically tasked with calming down these noble Pokemon, and once you get through these noble Pokemon you eventually have to calm down Palkia and Dialga, who have taken on new forms which were introduced in this game. And then in the post-story, you've got to try and steal the Pokemon to see Arceus, but there is a secret villain on the way, which I'm not going to go into spoilers in this video as much as I can, so don't worry about that if you haven't finished the post-game for Legends Arceus. But there is a secret villain who is conspiring against you the entire time, who makes themselves known right at the end, and then they have literally the toughest boss fight in Pokemon history. Yes, I'm including Ultra Necrozma in that. It's unrelenting, so if you haven't actually finished the post-story for Legends Arceus, just be warned about that. But again, I'm not going to get into the post-story. Just going to summarise the story there for you. It's very simplistic, but that's fine. You know, Pokemon games don't need to have these massive overarching stories. Not every game needs to have some sort of moral dilemma like Pokemon Black and White did, even though I love the moral dilemma of the story of Black and White. Or, you know, X and Y probably had the most convoluted storyline out of everything. Even Diamond and Pearl had a pretty convoluted storyline. Legends Arceus kind of walks all of that back and kind of says, you know what, you need to see all the Pokemon, you need to catalogue all the Pokemon, something bad's happening with these noble Pokemon, you need to find out what it is. So I kind of appreciated the more simplistic route that this game went with the story. My only issue with the story is that it kind of felt like it was going from beat to beat to beat to beat with not really much in between. So once you start fighting the noble Pokemon, once you've quelled the last noble Pokemon, you'll be sent on a mission to the next area to quell the next noble Pokemon, and since there's only about 5 of them, it kind of feels like the story sort of rushes you through it. which I didn't really appreciate that, but I suppose there's enough content around the story to kind of give you enough to play going forward. So the game kind of relies heavily on that out of story content. Things like the hundreds of side quests that you can pick up throughout the game. Things like shiny hunting as well, which is a big part of this game. And there will be an entire section of this video about shiny hunting because it's such a big part of this game. And also collecting every Pokemon. Not just that as well, one thing I really appreciated about this game is the fact that to complete the Pokedex, you don't have to just catch every Pokemon, you need to actually finish field research tasks for every Pokemon. So you need to get every Pokemon up to at least research level 10 in order for it to be considered completed in your Pokedex. Which I actually appreciate that. I actually thought that was such a good addition because it's so easy to just sort of catch Pokemon. And it's so easy to just sort of walk through the entire Pokedex like that without really thinking about it. Like, you'll catch a Pokemon and then you'll forget about that Pokemon completely while you move on to the next one. But in Legends Arceus, you can't really do that. You'll catch a Pokemon, then you got maybe catch 5 or 6 other versions of that species and different sizes of them, see them use different attacks, see what they like to eat and things like that. Because you are building the first Pokedex, you've got to actually catalogue exactly what these Pokemon are like and sort of help humans to understand Pokemon better so they can better live alongside them, which is something that I thought was a really interesting take on filling up the Pokedex, and it's something I want to see more of because I don't mind catching 6 or 7 of the same species of Pokemon if it's actually for an end. And I think that the way that Legends Arceus has done that has really sort of lent itself to that research and exploration is that weird? Aspect of the game, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. There's so many likable characters in this story as well. Somehow they've taken Cyrus's ancestor, Cylene, and made her just a complete lovable character. She's tough, but she's kind of like that Vegeta style character, the sort of like tough villain who deep down cares about their friends and their allies, which is always a character trait I really appreciate. You've got sort of like characters turning out to be villains who you don't necessarily expect. Again, I'm not going to drop any spoilers about that. I like the fact they've introduced the 2 clans, the Pearl Clan and the Diamond Clan, who are at each other's throats, kind of mimicking the, I guess, rivalry between the players of different versions of different games when Diamond and Pearl were out. Iridia and Adamant are basically just character swaps of the same character. They just sort of believe different things. So yeah, it's just they kind of both have the best interests of Hisui at heart. They just sort of don't have, they just sort of don't see eye to eye on the best way of tackling that. They both believe that their versions of the Almighty Sinnoh, which is their version of a god, is the correct one. And it turns out neither of them are actually right, because they both think that the Almighty Sinnoh is either Palkia or Dialga, but obviously it's Arceus. So, you know, so it's kind of like that battle of wills kind of thing. They're both very likable characters, though. By the end, they realise their differences might not be as different as they thought. Cliched kind of explanation, but at least it makes sense. Past Pokemon games have heavily relied on menus, and I really like the fact they've streamlined a lot of that. So when it comes to exploration, for example, you don't need to go into menu after menu after menu to, you know, for example, fly to a different area. You can literally just move across to Braviary on your navigation thing in the corner of the screen. Click the start button and there it is, one button press and you're on Braviary and you're flying around the area. Or if you want to ride on Weirdeer or Ursaluna or ride in the water on Basculegion, sometimes it's actually automatic. So if you last selected Weirdeer and you go from Weirdeer to Braviary and then you land on the ground, it'll automatically switch you back to Weirdeer. Or if you are on Braviary or Weirdeer and you land in the water, you'll automatically switch to Basculegion. So it's things like that. They've really sped up and streamlined the process of exploring these areas. It's made it a lot quicker, you know, movement speed's a lot faster, especially with the fact that we can literally get on Sneasler and just climb up a mountain. So instead of having to walk up the mountain like we would do on past Pokemon games and go around all the different obstacles and stuff, we can literally just hop on the back of a Pokemon and just climb up the mountain. Like, changes like that are so appreciated because they change the experience so much in such a good way that these are all things that have been missing from the Pokemon games. So honestly, I don't know whether I'll be able to go back to the regular style, so fingers crossed they don't. Again, not going to talk too much about Gen 9 and my expectations for that. There'll be a completely different video where I talk about the changes in Legends Arceus and how I feel that they should affect Gen 9. So, the exploration side of things is a lot easier when it comes to actually switching out your Pokemon. Instead of having to go into your Pokemon menu and then click on the Pokemon that's at the lead of your party and then click switch and then go down to a different Pokemon, you can literally just press the L1 and R1, well, the L and R buttons on the Joy-Cons and just literally choose which Pokemon you're going to send out next. You don't have to actually worry about what order they're in your party. It's literally just there for a list. But in old Pokemon games, you have to actually go into the Pokemon menu, click on the Pokemon that's at the lead of the party if you don't want it to be the lead, click on switch, go down to another Pokemon in the party, switch to places, go back out of the menus, and it's things like that that have been completely streamlined. It's all there on the screen as you're exploring the areas. So if I look at this Joy-Con right now, if I wanted to hop on Weird Ear, it's literally just the start button if Weird Ear is selected. If I wanted to switch what Pokemon is leading in the next battle, I literally just press this a few times. It's literally all on screen as I'm walking, as I'm exploring the areas, and I don't need to access a single freaking menu, except for really small, minute things, which is absolutely fine, like using items and things like that. The ability to just hide in the grass and just throw a Pokeball at an unsuspecting Pokemon is great, and okay, yeah, it's got a lower chance of catching the Pokemon, you might alert them to where you are, but at the same time, you don't have to go into a battle with them. And even really strong Pokemon, if you catch them unawares, or you throw a sticky glob at them and then you throw a Pokeball at them, they're easier to catch, and you can catch 15 Pokemon in the time it takes to catch one in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So it's things like that. Like, I saw a meme that perfectly sums this up. And it's perfectly sums up what this game does. It just streamlines everything. We can just hide in the grass and just completely blindside a wild Pokemon. On top of everything else, overworld Pokemon are still a thing. I honestly thought that was just going to be a gimmick for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and then they kind of kept them around in Sword and Shield, but then they took out overworld shinies, which I wasn't too happy about. But then they brought overworld shinies back as well. I can't tell you the happiness that I get when I'm just going through an area and I just hear that shiny sparkle. And I know a shiny spawns somewhere, and that shiny will not just despawn like they do in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. You haven't got like 30 seconds to go and catch it. It's just going to stay there. Unless it's a timid Pokemon and it spots you and it despawns. Like, there's a shiny, you can take your time, you can go and have a look. And the excitement you get, even when you find a Pokemon that you've already got as a shiny, the excitement you get when you just hear the shiny sparkles because you're just traversing an area. I think it might be because of the fact that the noise just sort of comes out of nowhere. It's just sort of like sharp, and for a couple of seconds it's just sort of there and it sort of catches you off guard, but sort of the hit from endorphins you get when you hear that sparkle sound from the shiny, you know a shiny is there, it just makes it so much more interesting when you're looking around trying to find the shiny. And things like that are just so exciting. I love overworld shinies, and I hope that the sparkles, even if it's a different sparkly sound, but like, I love the idea of the sparkly sound and overworld shinies, and it's something that I hope we get sticking around for future updates of Pokemon. People have been asking for years for a rarer version of shinies, and they finally gave it to us. Shiny alphas. They're incredibly rare because there's only so many alphas on a map. But when you do find a shiny alpha, it is so exhilarating as well, because you just know, even if it's a Pokemon you already have as a shiny, to find it as a shiny alpha, there's that extra layer there of rareness. So, for example, I already have a load of shiny Gibbles, Gabites, and Garchomps from Gibble Community Day in Pokemon Go. When I found a shiny alpha Gabite, which is now a shiny alpha Garchomp, you're damn right I was excited about that. I found a shiny alpha Pikachu. It sort of adds this extra layer. Every single Pokemon that can be shiny has that extra layer of excitement, even if you already have it as a shiny, because of the potential to find it as a shiny alpha. So they've kind of taken everybody's requests of wanting to have rarer shinies, and they've given it to us in this alphas. The only thing that worries me a little bit is that alphas won't be registered as alphas when you move them into Pokemon Home, and they'll just be considered the regular Pokemon, which I hope they don't do, because of the fact that the alphas kind of lose a lot of their collectability at that point, because they just become regular shiny Pokemon. So I hope that they do stay alpha in Pokemon Home, which I think they might do, but we'll see when the update finally drops. But yeah, the idea of finding a shiny that I already have, but having it as an alpha, so therefore it's technically a new shiny that I don't already have, just adds this extra layer to shiny hunting, which, as someone who spends so much of my time shiny hunting, that's greatly appreciated. The shiny hunting methods in this game as well are so much fun. Like, the amount of shinies that you'll find in this game is ridiculous, because every single Pokemon in the map is overworld, and you're technically seeing hundreds of spawns every time you go into a new area, especially when you have that shiny charm. I'm finding literally about 7 or 8 shinies a day just by phasing into a map, looking at all the spawns, phasing out of the map, going into a different map, and looking at all the spawns. And it doesn't get boring. I can spend days phasing in and out of maps just looking at all the spawns, because the thing is as well, like, shiny hunting a specific Pokemon is kind of fun, but you kind of know what the end result's going to be. But when you just sort of phase into a map and any Pokemon there can be shiny, there's that extra layer of unpredictability. It's kind of like a lucky dip as well, and that's an extra layer of excitement when you're shiny hunting. Mass outbreaks, and as of the Daybreak outbreak, massive mass outbreaks, bringing the shiny odds down to like 1 in 150, 130. Yes! Mass outbreaks are so much fun, especially as well as massive mass outbreaks. Again, when you don't give the Munchlax Agua berries, it's literally like really like a lucky dip, because you got way more of a chance of finding a shiny. They're a lot of fun because you just start throwing Pokeballs at Pokemon, start catching them over and over and over again, and any time the next Pokemon spawns, it could be a shiny. It's one of my favourite shiny hunting methods. Like, literally, even just a case of phasing in and out of a map, because the shinies are determined as soon as you get into a map. So if you phase into a map, a Pokemon on the other side of the map, if it's going to be a shiny, it's already a shiny by the time you phase in. So that's why you check everything when you get there. It doesn't determine its shininess when it shows up on screen. It's determined when you show up on the map. So phasing in and out of maps, you know, even just that, even without using any of the actual shiny hunting methods like the mass outbreaks and the massive mass outbreaks, it's still a lot of fun. It's still one of my favourite things to do to try and find shiny Pokemon. It may actually be better than Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee's shiny hunting, which I said before was my favourite method of shiny hunting, mainly because of the overworld shinies. But this has the overworld shinies, as well as the fact that you don't need a chain. It's literally just a case of you can just go into a map and just check everything. I love the fact that technically Pokemon can have more than 4 moves now. I mean, at any given time they can only have 4, but you can swap them out as you want. You don't need to worry about going to a move tutor to relearn an old move that you made it forget, or if you accidentally tell it you don't want it to learn a new move. Any new move just becomes sort of a potential move, and then you go into change moves in the Pokemon menu, and you can literally just swap them out as you please. I really like that approach. And also evolving Pokemon as well. Instead of automatically starting to evolve when they reach the level, it's a manual thing now. You have to go into the menu and tell it you want it to evolve, which is better than it just automatically trying to evolve and having to press B to stop it from happening every time it levels up. Just things like that are just like things that they've added that are like quality of life improvements that just make it 10 times better than any other Pokemon game has ever had in that regard. So learning moves, this is better than every other Pokemon game. Evolving Pokemon, it's better than every other Pokemon game. A small little addition to this game as well that I absolutely love is the fact that instead of being kept in a PC, Pokemon that aren't in your party are now kept in a ranch. And that's just an update I've been wanting to see for ages, because it just makes more sense. What the hell are they doing in the PC? Are they digital? Are they Digimon at that point? No, give me ranches. The only thing I don't like about the ranch system in this game is that they just sort of pick 6 random Pokemon to display at the front of the ranch. I want to go into the ranches. I want to pet my Pokemon. I want to spend time with them. I want to have a Pokepal or, what was it called? Pokeme? I don't use these sorts of features normally, but the little Pokemon features where you have to go in there and you brush your Pokemon and you feed them and things like that. I want it to be like that. Give me something like that. I do like the fact that they're in a ranch now and you can kind of see them as you go into the town, but I want to go into the ranches. I want to feed my Pokemon, I want to pet my Pokemon, I want to play with my Pokemon. So that's something they can expand upon in the future, but they're definitely heading in the right direction with it. I have to talk about the graphics as well, because it's a huge point of discourse, and yeah, I'll admit the graphics don't look amazing, they don't blow me away. But as Digital Foundry found out when they actually did a deep dive into what the graphics are doing, the game holds a steady 1080p, which is something that even Breath of the Wild can't say. It's sometimes Breath of the Wild, to produce those amazing visuals, as well as Monster Hunter as well, sometimes they dip down to even below 720p. So it is a kind of trade-off. At the end of the day, the Switch is very outdated hardware. Nintendo do need to put out a revision, but essentially we do kind of have to choose between amazing visuals like Breath of the Wild and Monster Hunter, or fidelity. And I personally would rather take the steady 1080p than huge drop rates of frame rates any day of the week. The strong and agile moves as well add a new element to the battles. So you can choose to have a normal attack, which will just play out like a regular attack. You can either do an agile style move, which will give you more turns the next turn, but it will do less damage. Or you can do a strong style move, in which you kind of give up a couple of your turns in the future, but you'll do more damage. And I really like that, rather than just being literally turn for turn, like every Pokemon game has been. There's kind of this new element to it, so your opponent might have 3 attacks or even 4 attacks in a row, I've seen, or you might as well, depending on how smart you are with your strategy. So it adds that extra layer of strategy to the game as well. So I actually really like that, rather than just being turn for turn for turn for turn. You can actually be smart, and actually a slower Pokemon may actually end up getting more attacks based on how smart you are and how stupid your opponent's been when it comes to actually battling. Speaking of battling as well, I don't like the fact that there is no PvP in this game. I would like to... My Pokemon teams they're kind of pointless at this point in the game. They're just sort of on my team to weak down alpha Pokemon that I find I want to catch. And there's not really any reason to be using them, so I would kind of like it if there was online PvP in this game. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case, and they don't seem to ever be adding that, which we're just going to have to get used to. I guess they've already confirmed that Hisuian forms will be in Gen 9, so I suppose I will eventually be able to use my Hisuian Zoroark or Hisuian Typhlosion or whatever else in competitive Pokemon, or even just friendly battles, but at the moment that's not really something we can do. I do feel like having a PvP section in this game would have made this game, its playability, a lot better. Which, you know, I don't know whether I'd be using it all the time. I don't know whether it'd be a game changer, but I definitely think it would be a nice addition if they did it. All the new Hisuian forms are fantastic. I can't think of a single bad one, a single one I don't like. And the new designs for the Pokeballs as well are absolutely brilliant. I love the little bit on top where the steam comes out as well. It just looks brilliant when you're catching a Pokemon. The Ultra Ball is definitely my favourite out of all the new different types of Pokeballs. I just like the way it looks, and I like the little clasp at the front as well. Can't find it right now, but I did get a little replica sort of Pokeball from this game, and it does have a working clasp. And I do like the fact that when you haven't caught a Pokemon, the clasp is undone, and when you do catch a Pokemon, you can actually see the clasp go down and lock the Pokeball off. It's just a little addition that I thought was really good. One of the beauties of waiting this long to do my review as well is that this review is coming out after the Daybreak update, and there's a ton of new features that would be completely criminal of me to not even mention. One of the best features that I've seen that's been added to the Daybreaks, obviously not counting massive mass outbreaks, is the Path of Solitude battles. So essentially every single Pokemon in the game and all of its evolutions will have a battle where you have to just use that one Pokemon against one Pokemon of Ingo's, and essentially it's all about mastering that Pokemon. And if there's one thing I've made very clear in this video so far, is that I really like the concept of going through every single Pokemon, even the first forms, the middle forms, and the final evolutions, and really spending time with these Pokemon. And when you got through each Pokemon, you'll have a little check mark in your Pokedex on that Pokemon, so it's another little thing to collect as well. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time going through these and trying to make sure that I can master every single one of these. It's kind of the same concept as the Master Challenges from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but it seems significantly easier than they were, which is fine, because they're still a challenge, but they're also not insanely hard like in that game. And another thing I love about this game as well is that the battles actually take place in the overworld rather than in some pre-rendered battle screen. So if you throw a Pokeball in a really awkward position, your Pokemon will be in a really awkward position, but in a good way. You can even run around the battlefield as well while you're having the battle, and things like that. But it's always been really awkward in Pokemon games when you're, say, in the middle of the sea and you have a battle and your Pokemon's just sort of standing in really shallow water when the water would not be that shallow at all, or when you're in a forest and the specific trees around you are very different to the ones in the battle screen. But in this game, like, wherever the battle starts is where the battle takes place. It's one of those features I've been asking for a long time, and yeah, we finally got it in this. It would be absolutely criminal of me to not mention how the boss battles in this game work. For the majority of the big battles in this game, mostly when it comes to the lords and the ladies of the different areas, it's more of a kind of dodge and throw minigame, where it feels more like an RPG feels like more like a traditional sort of game rather than a turn-based RPG. And I think that's actually a really good thing, because it kind of mixes up that formula. Instead of it just being battle after battle after battle, they actually add this new element to the boss battles. Especially when it comes to battling Arceus, for example, or battling, you know, a lot of these different bosses. There's a lot of different strategy involved. You could be the best Pokemon player in the world, but if you haven't, you know, mastered the art of dodging and learning the attack patterns of the different Pokemon and knowing when's the best time to strike, then you're not going to do too well in these boss battles. So it kind of adds that new skill that you need to pick up and you need to learn pretty damn quickly in order to get through this game. And I just think that things like that just really help to make the Pokemon formula just feel a bit more interesting, a bit less stagnating. So in the past they would have just had these battles as ordinary Pokemon battles, but they've kind of changed and adapted these battles in this game to really sort of make this game feel a lot more fresh and exciting, and it really accomplishes that. So overall then, Legends Arceus, very, very impressive. I love the fact that Pokemon decided to do something different, and if they do keep a lot of these changes as permanent changes to the series, then we're going to be looking at some fantastic games going forward. I'm really looking forward to Generation 9, see what they do move over. I do feel like this was kind of like a beta test for Generation 9, so I do feel like a lot of the concepts in this game will be moved over to Generation 9, but I'll be doing that as a separate video, talking about what changes were made in Legends Arceus that I would like to see in Generation 9. So if you have enjoyed this video and you want to see that one, please do hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. I'm a small-time YouTuber, and any little support is greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment down below, as it really does help with the YouTube algorithm and things like that. Also, head on over to twitch.tv/James of Thunder. I've been live streaming a lot of games lately, including Pokemon Legends Arceus, WWE 2K22. I've recently live streamed Guardians of the Galaxy and have plans to do Cyberpunk and Marvel's Avengers as well in the future. So head on over to Twitch and go follow me on there to be notified whenever I go live in the future as well. Also, here on YouTube, all of my streams get permanently archived several weeks after they take place. I'm really enjoying Pokemon Legends Arceus. There's a lot of things I would change about it, but you know what? I never expect perfection from anything I buy, from any product. So as far as I'm concerned, there's many steps in the right direction with this game. So I'm hoping they sort of capitalize on that and realize what needs to be carried over into the future, because this really could be a game changer for Pokemon. Let's just hope that they stick with a lot of these changes and expand on a lot of the ones that they actually added to this game. Thank you for watching. I've been James of Thunder, and I'll see you next time.